Welcome back, episode 13. Really not, it's episode 14, but the last episode we recorded, the file corrupted. We didn't miss a whole lot. Uh, it was very boring, actually, I'm not going to lie, but we have a lot to talk about. We decided to wait till the final minute. We're recording this on St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. None of us are wearing green. That's okay. No, nobody can pinch us. But we're here. NFL free agency happened. A lot of moves, especially for me and Barrett's team. The Saints did absolutely nothing. Typical. March Madness brackets released today. Conference championships. We have a lot to talk about. The boys had good weeks. We had a great spring break. I know the content was lacking from the Splat Sports Network this week because everybody was either in a foreign country or playing a state basketball game. But we all were back home by Thursday. But NFL free agency happened. We had some big quarterback deals. The Pittsburgh Steelers cleaned out their quarterback room and got two new quarterbacks. They signed Russell Wilson for a $1.2 million deal for 1 year. It does look like they're going to extend him long term, which I think is absolutely stupid. I think you let him play on the 1 year deal. But they also traded for Justin Fields for a sack of potatoes. Literally nothing. Barrett, what do we think about What do we think about this new QB room up in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, this is a really interesting trade that the Steelers have decided to go with. I don't think anyone saw it coming, especially after the Russ signing, which the Russ signing in itself was something that was not a curveball to anyone. I think that was pretty expected, but I'm really interested that the fact that they've already decided that Russ is going to be the starter before going into training camp. I think is something that I think would be good for between the two of them to kind of let them play out and compete for the starting job, even if they know Russ is going to be the starter. Don't announce it so early on. We'll see how that affects Fields, maybe his confidence and his development. So yeah, we'll see what Pittsburgh does this year. I think it'll be very interesting to watch them. Maybe an exciting team to watch. Who knows? It might be a complete train wreck. So they got Fields and insurance in their back pocket. So we'll see how the Steelers do this year.
There you go. It seems like Fields wanted that deal too. It's reported that there were a lot of better offers on the table for Fields, but Fields was allowed the ability to choose where he wanted to go and said Pittsburgh. Doesn't make sense. He's from Georgia. I would figure he would kind of choose Team Southern. Would say the Falcons, but we'll get to that. We'll get to them in a minute. Steelers also signed Patrick Queen and traded Deontay Johnson for Dante Jackson. Uh, Good deals, in my opinion. I wrote an article about the Steelers, and I said that they're doing a really good job this offseason, kind of rebounding. G-Russ, what do you think about the Steelers' new look, kind of defense here that they're going with?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think this is I think this is a really good job by Pittsburgh being able to, build on their great defense, also bringing in a veteran quarterback and Russell Wilson. To me, it's very similar to what the Saints tried to do. Bring in Derek Carr, let Jameis Winston be the backup, maybe bridge it to Winston eventually. Obviously, that didn't work, but hopefully the Steelers can do that.
There you go. Speaking of NFC South teams, the Falcons got their guy, Kirk Cousins, for 4 years, 180 million. 100 of that 180 million guaranteed. Big money for Kirk Cochains. Falcons made a lot of moves. Darrell Mooney also signed down there, 3 years, I think 39 million. Signed a tight end. Now the Falcons are set up in the draft. Looks like they're going to go defense, which I totally agree with. Falcons look good. Uh, Panthers traded Brian Burns to the Giants for not a whole lot. I mean, a lot of picks. Huge get for the Giants. They get Burns on a brand new deal that they're going to have to pay, but still, huge get for them. They did lose Saquon to the Eagles. Trying to think of, there's a couple more big deals. Daniel Hunter went to the Texans. But one team, I did write an article about my NFL free agency day one winners, and I said there's this one team that's really kind of, a lot of people are overlooking them. They're kind of doing really good, and that's Barrett's Washington Commanders. Signed a
Sure.
lot of people.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot of people are saying that they're like a new retirement home. I don't think that. I think that they're very good. They did trade Sam Howell, which I did not agree with, but I'm going to let Barrett talk about his Commanders here for a little bit.
Yeah, so I think it's a pretty exciting time to be a Commanders fan. This is a definitely A lot different than we've been accustomed to with the the old management and stuff. I think the new management come in and they're kind of cleaning house and doing what they want to do, and it's very refreshing to see them make moves to improve the team. One of the biggest signings for me was the Bobby Wagner signing, and Frankie Louvu as well. But linebacker was a position that the Commanders were desperately lacking at, and Adam Peters goes out and he signs two pretty good linebackers to sure it up, maybe for short term. But I think Frankie Louvu will be more of a long term solution. We'll see about Bobby Wagner. But they also go out and get Austin Eckler, who I think will be very good to pair with Brian Robinson, a nice veteran presence in that locker room, help mentor Brian Robinson. And I'm just really excited about all these moves that they're making. They've made some other really kind of slept on, maybe not bigger name people, but I think they'll plug in very nicely to the team and at least help them not suck as much as we did last year. So excited to see what this team holds for next year. I think they'll be fairly improved, and we'll see what next year holds in years to come. So yeah.
Drew, you're also going to have to face the new look Philadelphia Eagles with Saquon and Bryce Huff. Two deals that I think that the Eagles were kind of expecting to make the Eagles lose a lot. We said kind of last week's episode that you all will not see, but they lost a lot of people to retirement, lost some free agency, but now you lose DeAndre Swift to the Bears. You plug in Saquon Barkley. Upgrade, maybe. I don't really know. I think really depends on who you're talking to. The Bears look really good. Bears made a lot of moves, traded for Keenan Allen, signed DeAndre Swift, like we said, traded Justin Fields. They made a couple more big free agency signings. Did lose a couple guys. Don't know whoever the quarterback is. Preferably Caleb Williams, who looks like it's going to be him. No one really knows who he's going to throw the ball to besides DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I mean, I feel like you need another guy. Jerome Mooney, I feel like who Chicago really liked. I feel like he should have stayed there, but I really like the pick up by the Falcons. A couple more teams. The Chargers do not have a wide receiver. They have Quentin Johnson. Do we count
Quentin
him as a wide
Johnson.
receiver, G. Russ?
No.
All right. G. Russ says no to the wide receiver. Are they setting Justin Herbert up for failure down in LA, G. Russ?
I think I don't know. I think they're going to try to draft a couple receivers, especially since now they have one of the worst wide receiver cores in the room. With Johnston and Palmer wasn't a free agent, right? Palmer's still there, I assume.
I think Palmer's probably still. I assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they just need, I think they need to, use their first or second pick in the first, second round to, get a wide receiver somewhere Justin Herbert can work. Obviously, though, the Chargers just hired the old OC at Baltimore Ravens who wants to run the ball more. So I think they're gonna try to run the ball more. That might help Justin Herbert. I don't know because he's considered, one of the best young pocket passers in the league. But I don't know. I don't know what the Chargers are trying to do in their wide receiver core, but I don't know. I just think they have to draft a wide receiver here in the first couple rounds in order to be successful.
There you go. Another division I felt like got all around better was the AFC South. The Titans, they released Derrick Henry. Well, they didn't release him his contract right now. He went and signed with Baltimore. I'm sure we'll cover that here in a minute. But Titans signed a lot of guys, and I love what the Titans did. They signed JT Crushenberry. He's the center for the Broncos. He's one of the most underrated centers in the league. And as an offensive lineman, I appreciate that. Huge gift for them, $50 million for 3 years. I know it seems like a lot, but for really what he does should be a whole lot more. They also signed Calvin Ridley for $92 million. A lot of money for a 29-year-old wide receiver, in my opinion. Calvin Ridley's kind of good, but he hasn't really showed that. It looked like he was going to go back to Jacksonville. Jaguars also spent a lot of money. But Titans also signed Tony Pollard, so they're kind of surrounding Will Levis with a lot of weapons here. But are they going to be able to beat the new look Houston Texans with Danielle Hunter? They did lose a couple of pieces. Jonathan Grenard, I believe that's how you say his name. He went to the Vikings. Texans look kind of new look, I guess you could say defensively at least. Who do we think wins the AFC South? Early pick here. I think it's really a two-team race between the Titans and Texans, but I think the Titans will win it. I think Will Levis, even though I do not like him, I think Will Levis will have a rebound year, second sophomore season. They're giving him basically the keys to the kingdom, as they say in the NFL. He's got a good shot to win it. Do we think the Titans win the AFC South? Just early prediction without the draft here.
I'm gonna agree with you there, Hunter. I think one thing that maybe this is just me personally that kind of concerns me with the Texans is they were really good last year, a lot better than people predicted. So I wonder if that sophomore slump for Stroud and Will Anderson maybe hits not a huge one, but just a little bit of a regression to where the Titans are the better team. So look out for that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a disagree. I do think there will be a little bit of a slump for CJ Stroud, but you got to remember, Titans are bringing in a new head coach, a whole new system, a whole new everything basically, and I just can't see the Titans finishing over 500 right now. Now, does that mean they can't? No, because we've seen before, Titans, they used to play, this old, hard knocks ball where it's like, we're gonna pound you, we're gonna run it on you. And so I don't know. I just think I see the Texans, having just another good year, and they're gonna win the AFC South.
There you go.
Well,
Speaking of pounding, oh, go ahead,
I
Barry.
was
Go
gonna
ahead,
say,
Barry.
I mean, do you rest your argument about the new all the new pieces fitting together? Wasn't that the Texans last year though, pretty much? So how that turned out. Just throwing it out there.
There you go. Speaking of pounding the ball, the Baltimore Ravens got a running back, Derrick Henry, paired with Lamar Jackson. I love this pairing. I think it's going to work out really good, especially in the AFC North that they kind of just got better. They didn't necessarily, they kind of exchanged players, it looked like. I think, you saw Patrick Quinn go to the Steelers, Derrick Henry now Baltimore. The Bengals didn't do a whole lot. They kind of lost everybody, plus the T. Higgins trade. The Browns brought Jameis Winston in, re-signs Darius Smith. Pretty good there. And then you look, Josh Jacobs signed with the Packers in a deal that I don't think anybody saw. Packers then release Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones then goes to the Vikings. New look Vikings. Sam Darnold going to be the quarterback there after losing Kirk Cousins. You got Aaron Jones. You have a couple of defensive pieces here. Vikings sit there with the 12th pick in the draft. Uh, it's kind of an open field kind of here. I think that they're going to possibly move up in the draft. They also traded, I believe, for the 29th pick in this year's draft, so they can move up there. Possibly Vikings moving into the top five for a quarterback to pair with Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones. But do we think Justin Jefferson's going to get traded? Because there's a lot of rumors saying that, hey, Jefferson's going to win out. He liked Cousins. Do we think Jefferson gets traded?
I think it depends on what they do at the quarterback position. If I think if they, like you said, trade up and draft a quarterback, I think Jefferson might be, depending on who the quarterback is, might be open to at least testing it out for a little bit of the year. But if they roll with Sam Darnold, who hasn't had the best track record in the NFL, I would definitely, if I were him, I would probably want out. I mean, to be successful, you got to have a good quarterback to throw the ball, and Sam Darnold isn't the best by any means. So I personally would want out if I were him. But I think it really just depends on what the Vikings do at that quarterback position.
And the final team that we'll discuss, G-Russ's Saints, did absolutely nothing. They signed Willie Gay. They did lose a couple guys. I like the Willie Gay signing, but as a Saints fan, G-Russ, what are you kind of doing? You lose Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was surprised. I mean, to me, the Saints and the Cowboys have clearly had probably the two worst offseasons so far. Both have only made like one or two signings each. I
and the
was
Jets.
oh yeah, and the Jets, I guess. Forgot about them. But I do think that this year, I think this after this year, the Saints are gonna have to fire Dennis Allen. It's just because nothing's really happening. They did bring in a new OC, but I don't think that's gonna really change a lot, with Derek Carr at quarterback especially. And I just don't see. I don't know. I think it's just time to reveal or uh, to just throw it away, throw it in because it's basically a fire right now. So I think we just get ready to rebuild for next year, trade everybody away. And yeah, I think that's just best bet.
Well, there you go. Video's going to cut right here because we're running out of time. But we're about to switch sports here in a second. So, Dress, Stop the recording, please. All right, we're back. Like I said, we're going to switch over. It's probably our favorite most time of the year, even though my Twitter said otherwise after the Tennessee loss. It's March Madness time. A lot of teams that kind of a. I've seen some of the matchups, a couple of the matches I looked at. Very interesting matchups so far. I feel like this year is kind of it's NCAA the committee kind of picked a lot of good first round games. A lot of potential upsets this week. This coming week, Tennessee, of course, plays St. Peter's. They're the 2 seed. Tennessee's bracket, their side of the bracket, they have Purdue in there. I would love to face them again and kill Zach Edey. I hate Zach Edey. I will stand on that for the rest of my life. Uh, but we all decided to pick a team that we should look out for heading into March. I'm gonna let Barrett go on this one, and then I'll let you rest, and then I'll go. So, Barrett, who's your team to look out for?
All right. My team to look out for this March Madness. We haven't. I mean, the bracket just released a couple hours ago, so I haven't taken like a analytical Kim Palm and the net uh, analytical view on this. Just kind of going off of a gut feeling here. The team that I chose is going to be the New Mexico Lobos. They won the Mountain West Conference Championship, and that kind of got them their bid into this tournament. So they're hot. They got some very, very exciting players. They're probably their best player, best scorer definitely is Jalen House. For hoop fans out there, very famous high school player at Shadow Mountain High School. Elite high school mixtape. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube. He was a great player in high school many moons ago. He's probably about a seventh year senior at this point now, but good player. They also have Donovan Dent, who's one of my favorite players in college basketball. He played with Jared McCain at Corona Centennial High School. Very good guard. He's shooting about 37% from three on about 52% field goal percentage overall, which is very good. He's averaging about 6 assists a game, so he's dishing it around to Jalen House. And they also have JT Toppin, who's a very good rebounder, averaging about 9 a game. So look out for the Lobos. I think they're pretty high powered on the offensive end, and who knows, maybe they'll make some noise.
Russ, who's your team?
My team is the Texas A&M Aggies. The first thing everybody says when it comes to March is you need guard play. And Texas A&M has one of the best backcourts in the country when it comes to Tyrese Radford and Wade Taylor. Also, they're old, they're experienced, so they know what this is like. Although they haven't been to an NCAA tournament before, they have been in NIT, and they also in the regular season they beat Tennessee pretty handily over there by around 30, and they also just beat Kentucky on a neutral floor. So when I factor those things into there, I think this team has a great chance to make a run in their side.
We call that the G Russ formula. You're on the Splat Sports Network. Barrett, you got some?
I was just gonna say, Brand, did you watch the NCAA tournament last year?
Yeah.
A&M, they did in fact make the tournament last year. They played Penn State in the first round.
Oh, I'm thinking of 2 years ago then when we won it, and then
No.
Sure.
Also, hold on.
Yes.
Manio Basicki for A&M, number 35. He's come on very strong. He's I think he's kind of the reason that they've elevated their game. He's just kind of a third scoring option for the Aggies. Kind of another pitch in the arsenal, so to say. So look out for that.
We call that the Barrett Roberts formula. And my team is the team that's facing Texas A&M, the good old Nebraska Cornhuskers. As a man who does not watch a lot of basketball, I did watch most of the conference tournament games, and I'm sure we'll talk about conference tournaments after this. But Nebraska looked pretty good. I know they did kind of lose somewhat early in the Big Ten tournament, but I also follow Will Compton on Twitter, electric individual. Big Nebraska fan too. He played there. From what I've seen, this Nebraska team has the ability to do a lot. They are going to run into what I think is a really hot team in Texas A&M. So I'm interested to see how they're going to kind of combat that. It'll probably be one of the most watched games, the 8 versus 9 seeds. I feel like those are always the most interesting games. In my opinion, I probably am going to take A&M, but I like Nebraska's chances in this game. I don't know any of the players. I know they have this one elite player. I think Barrett has the name.
His name is Keisai Tominanga. He's Kind of like the Asian Steph Curry, so to say.
There we go. He shoots the three. Okay, he's a shooter. Shooter going to shoot. That's what I like about Nebraska. I like shooters. I like people that are going to shoot, not John Morant type shooters. I just like don't connect type shooters. But conference tournaments did happen, and I felt like this was the most. I feel like we had March Madness early. The SEC, the top three seeds all went down. Uh, Big Ten, Purdue went down. I believe two seed. Did the two seed go down too in the Big Ten, or was Illinois the two seed?
Illinois was 2 seed.
Illinois was the two seed. Wisconsin went on a run. If you look at the ACC, Duke went down. North Carolina, who did
NC State
North
made the
Carolina?
run.
North Carolina went down, right?
Hmm.
Early too.
Game, yeah. No, no, no.
Yep.
Last night.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Thought they played
Yeah.
Virginia. I was wrong. Uh, NC State went on a run. We all got to meet DJ Burns as Tennessee fans. We were very familiar with his game. But you also look at the Big 12. Houston went down. Kansas went down, although kind of expected that. There was just a lot of upsets. I feel like in every conference tournament, a lot of surprise winners. Uh,
I
but
think
did we expect
I think I saw some on either Twitter or Instagram. It was like 14 in the 14 conferences. Like the one seed went down, which is crazy. So March is here.
something that you don't want to see? But I feel like for some of these teams, losing early in the tournament gives them a little wake up call and says, "Hey, you're about to head into March Madness. You're about to head into the tournament that I don't want to say actually counts, but the one that you really want to win." Uh, I feel like for Tennessee and Houston did kind of go down. They lost their best player kind of early, which is why they lost. It wasn't a good look for Houston. Lost by 30 something in the conference tournament when they had been the number one team the entire country, the entire year, somewhat so. Purdue went down to Wisconsin. Kazaki did not beat the allegations this time. Uh, I don't like Zaki. It warmed my heart watching Wisconsin beat them. Kentucky also lost, warmed my heart. Tennessee did lose, broke my heart. Alabama lost. Woohoo! I hate Alabama as much as I hate Kentucky and Purdue. So a lot of teams kind of everywhere. Duke lost as well. I mean, it's March. This is what we look. This is what I feel like as fans of March Madness. I feel like we're going to be filling out our brackets soon. We are going to do a little Splat bracket challenge. We'll get the info out hopefully soon. We're still trying to figure out the logistics there. We also have a new show coming out soon. Well, I'm sure if you check who we follow on Instagram, which you should follow us already, already should be, duh. Uh, I'm sure you'll see what the show's name is and maybe get a little hint of what it's about. But let's say we enjoy March Madness here at the Splat Sports Network. Um, but yeah, March Madness here, brackets here. We're filling them out. Women's brackets here too. If y'all want to fill those out, we can. We can share them on the show. I feel like we should do that. We don't watch a lot of women's ball. I feel like we should just fill out a women's March Madness bracket and see who gets the most right. Let's do that. How about next week we come in, we show our, we show our women's March Madness brackets.
All
Here we
right,
go. That's our content
there we
next
go.
week. No, you're not allowed to study. You're not allowed. You just got to pick off feeling. You got to pick off what you already know. So no, I know Grant's already going to research. It
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. All those thoughts are always already going through my mind.
12 seeded Green Bay is going to go on a run this year. They're
You
not.
never know.
The only reason I know they're in the tournament is because Lady Vols playing. But that's probably it. I don't think we have any more. Baseball is about to start. MLB The Show came out this week. I've grinded a lot of hours into that. Baseball's around the corner. Blake Snell still has not signed anywhere, making me anxious as a Yankees fan because I really want him. Um, yeah, that's about it. Spring ball is about to start for football, so that's when we start getting some college football storylines. We'll be back to those soon. NFL draft starts soon. Sure, we'll talk about that. Yeah, there we go. So we have some exciting stuff coming out. Masters coming up soon. Might have a little extra video for that coming out soon. Maybe it will sure be entertaining. I'll leave you that. Let's just say we're playing a little scramble here, but I'm just leaking information all around. I don't care. I'm the boss. I can do what I want. But uh, that's where we're kind of at. We got a lot of stuff coming soon. Loves you. Y'all got any closing thoughts here? Nope.
Not really.
Shirts are for sale. Check the website out. We're gonna start writing articles on there, hopefully. And yeah, there we go. That's gonna wrap up episode 13 and a half, really, I guess. I guess we'll call it 13 and a half. They'll say episode 13, but it's really 13 and a half.
Mhm.
But there we go. Hopefully this episode gets out soon.